say if you got like a project just now, you were to go and explore the bush looking for a particular type of animal. Could you explain like how you even go about something like that? How do you start planning to find the
Yeah.
animals, locate them, film them, but make sure that you're portraying the the true behavior of the animal rather than the manipulated that you see, like some of these tiger programs on Netflix, for example.
Yeah. Um, it's an interesting question. Each idea just starts with something that I'm interested in, particularly the ones that are dangerous. But if you're going to be out there in the middle of the bush risking your life, you better want to be there and love being there. If the driving factor is television or fame or money, then you're not going to survive very long. I did meet those guys. I just didn't understand those guys. Um, so, with an overarching question, one being maybe I wonder if I could introduce myself and be accepted by a Pride Alliance. Right. With that question, the research starting point is very obvious. It's a matter of what does the world think about human and animal interaction, that animal interaction, then what do I think I bring to that is different. And then from there, my next question is what's the worst case scenario? In my head, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm researching what we already know. I'm researching the thoughts that I think. What do I think that's different? And then if I get attacked by that bear, shark, tiger, what do I need to know? Now, if it's a big cat or something like that, it's very close friends of mine that I'm calling and I'm going through stuff with. If it's sharks and things like that, I'm actually going online like you would and say, who are the smartest shark people? Who knows anything about shark attacks? Who's ever survived shark attacks? Does anyone have a solution to a shark attack? And then really going to like a fitness professional and saying, all right, well, if I'm getting attacked by a shark, here's what my body needs to do to keep myself alive. So if I'm giving myself the confidence from Dave, you're building a body that can react properly when you're in the terrible situation, and you've built that interest around all the other research, then your brain's in a pretty good spot. You're in a real positive position to get out there. While I'm doing that, I've got the producers that I love and the friends that I'm used to. So if I'm doing an African adventure, I have a production company in South Africa. It's obvious. I call them up and I'm like, hey guys, what's the best Pride of Lions or Great White Shark area or elephant area where we can view this behavior and get this reaction or understand it in this way. But then along with that, you're also having to build a team, right? So you're only as good as the worst person on your team. If you're going to be doing lions on foot, you got to find some cameramen who are great at capturing images for the people at home so they can tell the story, but also not be in danger by being on foot. I mean, to some degree, I'm in charge of everyone's safety, but also to some degree, everyone's in charge of their own. So, you build the team over the years of great African guys and great North American guys, and so it becomes species or danger specific. If you're underwater, in my case, oddly, I've probably been underwater 500 times because I've done a lot of aquatic shows. But because I'm a host and because I never really got confident, because I learned on camera in the show. Uh, I've always just had one or two safety divers. So because of that, safety has never been my thing. So even in my 500th dive, I still don't feel great underwater unless I'm with some safety guy who knows a bit more. So um, that's all the elements. The actual production and finding the location and getting the deal done as far as rights, insurances, the finances, all that kind of stuff. I get involved, but it's not my bread and butter. It's not something I'm good at. It's kind of the other stuff, the research side, the passion side. That is where I uh, tend to drive the project.
Because it certainly comes across with your love of animals. Every time I've watched shows and stuff, it's not so much the celebrity stuff of it. You're actually interested in the animal. You're always checking on it. You're always talking with love and passion about the animal, and it really comes across to somebody who understands it. But now that we see these rises of all these extra like documentaries on YouTube and Netflix, and it really bugs me that people see that as a good animal husbandry.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
accepted thing.
I think that this current day and age will be the death of all the stuff that you're talking about, as far as like having groups of wranglers that I can call up and say, hey, we've got a group that's interested in cheetah conservation. Can you bring your cheetah so I can do a presentation, explain to people all the 70,000 things I think are awesome about cheetahs, and really get people in that room pumped up about saving this cheetah? Like, those people are going to be gone because not Netflix, but the what's happened after the Netflix specials like Tiger King or the subsequent ones, it's got the world believing that that's what is normal. Like, those people will crack pots well before they ever had a special. Like, I knew of those crazy people, and they were the crazy people. Like, everybody in the world, we all know crazy people in jobs that we do. Like, I have a couple of friends that are mailmen, but going postal is a whole different thing. Not because of what actual normal mailmen do. It's because there are crazy people in every profession. Um, so I I do believe that because public opinion through social media uh, was shifting greatly already, in that the activists are the angriest and the loudest, and trolling is a lot more popular online than anything else, really. And so it's kind of the message that people are seeing. Then that gets reinforced by Tiger King and the media that surrounds that. So the only thing we've ever heard of captive animals in the last 3 years at least um, is bad. So someone like me absolutely is getting lumped into people like them. Whereas the truth of the matter is, way back, my very first on-camera experience where I was like the animal wrangler, the Jack Hanna, the guy that's holding the animal on a talk show, trying to get people convinced. I realized back then in 2003 that there wasn't a good enough standards and practices where there was a vetting system where the producers and I knew for sure that that animal came from a good home and is going back to a good home. And yet so then I spent the last, what was that, 18, 19 years developing those systems to the point where I don't think you could go anywhere in North America and get a captive animal on screen without going through an intense vetting system. That's designed by me and my teams, the lawyers and the animal husbandry people that I have been working with since 2003. Like, that's where that all comes from. And yet, all of a sudden now in 2021, I get lumped in with these people that are, acting a fool and breeding cats, for pictures and, selling them irrationally and all these other things. I think that it will change the landscape such that it will never recover. On top of which, COVID, because those little small places, those little rescues, those little sanctuaries, those little people with those big, big hearts for animals, they're always breadlined. If you ever see anybody over my shoulder collecting up one of those animals, you'll see love, but you won't see wealth. Like, those people aren't doing it because they're getting rich doing it. They're doing it because they really love it and they believe what I believe. Like, sometimes the amount of money that they probably barely get their gas money to be out there, but they believe, oh man, but if Dave gets my snake out there, maybe Dave can convince people that snakes aren't so scary. And they desperately want me. And when they're handing it to me, they're like, hey, make sure you tell people this interesting fact, because I think that will get them into thinking that this snake's not a scary snake, it's a good snake, and people will stop killing it. Like, that old process, all those wonderful people, they don't have people coming to their place and paying the $10 to see them do their little animal shows, or their conservation based shows, or their education shows. And I think that COVID will have hurt a lot of those people to the point where animals are going to suffer for it. There won't be. So if you get a Tiger King, there won't be as many happy homes anymore that you can say, okay, I'm going to take that tiger from that jerk and I'm going to give it to this happy little group over here that do take care of their animals. Those guys are gone. The good, happy guys are gone because they just ran out of money or they got attacked so much on social media that they couldn't survive.